Trump 2.0, a transformational force, the seismic shift. If Donald Trump's narrow victory in 2016 unsettled America, his recent triumph has left the nation in stunned silence, only by the market's unexpectedly positive reaction, in stark contrast to the panic of 2016. Back then, economists dismissed him as an existential threat to both the US and global economy. But today, those same voices are notably quiet. What is unfolding now is far more than a clash of economic or political ideologies. It's a battle between two Americas. One rooted in the vision of the founding fathers and the other intent on dismantling their legacy. Understanding the seismic shift requires a deep dive into the underlying forces reshaping America, from villain to hero. Let's take a look at Trump's market reversal. In 2016, Trump was cast as a villain by the liberal media and economists alike. When his victory became apparent on November 7, US stock futures plunged, the Dow Jones dropped 800 points, and markets spiraled into chaos. Yet, within 24 hours, they rebounded higher than before, igniting the famed Trump rally that persisted into early 2017. Economists attributed the rally to Trump's pro-business policies, that is, tax cuts, infrastructure investment, and deregulation, all of which he had consistently championed. So why the initial market panic? It was a result of relentless media fear-mongering portraying Trump as a national and global menace. Yet within a day, ideological hysteria gave way to economic pragmatism. Let's fast forward to 2024. The markets immediately soared as Trump claimed victory, delivering the year's best weekly performance. This time, Wall Street wasn't fooled. They had learned from 2016, embracing Trump's policies from the outset rather than reacting with fear. Despite concerns over his rhetoric, the fundamental strengths of the US economy have remained resilient irrespective of who holds office, a testament to America's unique structural advantages. America's bedrock, geography and resources. The US economy's resilience transcends presidential politics. The nation's strength lies in its geography, natural resources, and decentralized governance. America's vast landmass, over 3 times the size of India but with just a quarter of its population, boasts unparalleled resources, 95,000 kilometers of coastline, fertile land, abundant fresh water, oil and coal reserves. With 45% of the world's fresh water, 22% of global coal reserves and 10% of the world's farmland, America is a powerhouse with only 4% of the global population. The US became a net exporter of oil by 2018, surpassing even Saudi Arabia in untapped reserves. Its geopolitical position is equally enviable. Bordered by oceans and friendly neighbors, it faces to immediate territorial threats. This physical security, combined with the vast national wealth, grants America a strategic edge that few nations can match. Yet, this strength was only fully realized through immigration, fueling its economic growth for centuries. However, that same demographic expansion now poses a political challenge as the changing racial composition of America tests its unity and identity. The fault lines, demographic shifts and political fragmentation. Historically, America's political cohesion was built on a predominantly white Anglo-Saxon population. By 1900, the US had grown to 76 million people with strict naturalization laws favoring white Europeans. This racial homogeneity helped unify the nation, fostering decades of economic and political stability. However, the civil rights movement and subsequent immigration reforms opened the doors to a multi-racial society, dramatically altering America's demographic landscape. By 2020, non-Hispanic whites had fallen to 58% of the population, down from 72% in 2000. Meanwhile, Hispanic, Asian, and mixed-race populations surged, and by 2060, NHWs are projected to drop to 44%. This demographic transformation has fueled political polarization. Samuel Huntington warned that the erosion of the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant identity could destabilize the nation. Today, rising woke liberalism and social fragmentation further complicate America's internal dynamics. Compounding this is the decline of globalization following the 2008 financial crisis and China's rise as a geopolitical rival. These tensions paved the way for Trump's ascendance with his Make America Great Again movement.
Make America great again.
Serving as a direct response to these existential challenges. Defying the critics. Trump's policies were initially met with dire predictions from economists and media pundits. Larry Summers forecasted a recession within 18 months, while Citigroup and the Washington Post warned of a global economic collapse. Even Nobel laureate Paul Krugman predicted a global recession with no end in sight. Yet Trump defied them all. His promise of 3.5% GDP growth became a reality, unemployment rates hit historic lows, and markets flourished. His success forced his critics to eat their words, demonstrating that Trumpism was more than rhetoric, it was a viable economic strategy. The global realignment. Trump didn't just rewrite domestic policy, he reshaped America's role on the world stage. After the Cold War, the US imposed a one-size-fits-all globalization model through institutions like the WTO, underpinned by its economic and military dominance. However, admitting China into this framework backfired as China exploited the system to challenge US supremacy. By 2016, even the US and EU sought to reclassify China as a non-market economy. Trump's aggressive stance, imposing tariffs on China, the EU and India, broke with tradition but highlighted America's willingness to challenge the status quo. His America First policy effectively declared the end of globalization, a sentiment echoed globally after the pandemic and Ukraine war. Even The Economist, once a staunch advocate of globalization, conceded its decline. The Biden paradox. Ironically, Joe Biden, who campaigned as Trump's antithesis, largely maintained his predecessor's policies. Sparking WTO reforms, Biden expanded rather than reversed Trump's protectionist agenda. His escalation of tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles and steel echoed Trump's nationalist economic philosophy. Why did Biden follow Trump's lead? Because Trumpism is no longer about one man. It's a reflection of America's broader shift towards economic nationalism and geopolitical pragmatism. The path forward. Trump's rise was not a political anomaly but a reflection of deeper societal forces. His presidency signaled the emergence of a new American paradigm, one that prioritizes national sovereignty over global integration. The consequences of this shift for both America and the world remain uncertain. One thing is clear, Trump may leave office, but Trumpism is here to stay. It represents a fundamental redefinition of America's identity, priorities, and future, an enduring force reshaping the nation and its place in the world. Only time will reveal its full impact.